Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Rugby League World Cup. Tonga in action once again. They will be taking on Wales in what is the closest pool out of any for the Rugby League World Cup so far. Looking through it the way that the table sits, Tonga, they were able to get themselves a 6-point victory over Papua New Guinea last week, and Cook Islands, they were just narrowly able to get themselves the win over Wales. So this game, the odds aren't so much in terms of closeness. I believe Wales to win this game is about $51 compared to the money that you can't even put on Tonga anymore to be able to get themselves the victory. So if this was a win for Wales, would be the biggest of the Rugby World Cup so far in terms of the upsets. But looking through at the starting lineups, Tonga, they've made a couple changes. In fact, 3 to be exact. Daniel Tupou, he's going to be still out on that right wing. It's going to be an entertaining player to watch. Penasini also in the midfield. Lolo here plays half, and then Takiaho going to be a hard man to stop alongside some of those other big Tongan forwards. Then for Wales, they've got an explosive backline that they will be hoping to really unleash in this game up against Tonga. They'll have to make sure they're making those post-contact meters, though, because if they don't, Tonga are certainly going to be able to peg them down inside of their own half and make them really suffer the consequences of this big Tongan forward back and backline. And then these are the interchange players. Couple decent players. Couple decent players on both sides, I should say, including those couple changes that I mentioned, including Nui and also Murdoch Masilla as the other man who has made his way onto the bench for Tonga. Also a few changes for the Welsh. They have got 4 inclusions into this lineup compared to what they did have for the last match. There was just a very loud siren in my ears, but that is because this game is getting very close to underway. We have got Amelia has said hi. Hope you are doing very well. Do let me know your score prediction for this game. I am going Tonga by 42 points. That is the prediction straight off the bat. It could be completely wrong because, unfortunately, my prediction skills are normally pretty bad, although I did predict that Tonga will win their game up against Papua New Guinea by 6. So I'm probably going to have to keep on mentioning that throughout the whole World Cup for every other time that I do get my predictions wrong. But I think it's going to be a hard-hitting affair. Tonga, they did all right against Papua New Guinea. They still had some mistakes, but I think they may have underestimated PNG a little bit, as they cannot underestimate this Welsh side, as if they do get half a sliver, they will be able to make the absolute most of it. We have got there in the chat, Tonga by 20 from Jan Brand. So yeah, they've got a decent chance here, Tonga, to be able to run away with this contest, book themselves a spot in the quarterfinals, more than likely up against Samoa. So that's going to be a massive clash of 2 Pacific Island nations, but both sides do have to try and get there first. If we're looking through at first try scorers of this match, I'm actually going to say it's one of the big Tongan forwards. I'm going to go with Fotuaika as the first try scorer of the match, the number 17. I feel like I've gone with a lot of backs in the past, and yes, a lot of backs have been able to get themselves tries, but instead of the back this time, we are going to go with one of the big Tongan forwards currently, only a minute or 2 away from the start of this match. Now, Tonga, they're still waiting to bring back some of their rising stars and some of their key players. They will be looking to inject them in the next few games or so, including that suspension that we did see, unfortunately, just before the Rugby League World Cup. Tonga's looking fired up here. Wales, the thing is, they're probably one of the sides that I know the least about, I'd say, in this Rugby League World Cup, and that is quite hard to do because I do have quite a few, I guess, big gaps in my knowledge of the Rugby League World Cup and international sides, but I know that they're one of those teams that if they can get it right early, they can really put Tonga under pressure, but they need to get it right for the first 10 minutes or so. If they get it wrong, then that's when Tonga will be making the absolute most of it. One moment, we will go like this. Of course, with this game being in the morning, it does mean hay fever is still a thing for myself, but that's not too bad overall because it does mean that it should be a relatively nice day. Currently 2 degrees Celsius, so hopefully a bit nicer than it is currently. But Takiaho is the captain of Tonga. Will be looking to try and get his side their second win of this Rugby League World Cup. They are sitting top of the table of their group theoretically, but they are still on the tied points differential with the Cook Islands, who they do actually come head-to-head with in the last round of the Rugby League World Cup group stage. Captain Kerr there for the Welsh. Now, John Kerr is the coach. Any relation to the captain? Because if so, I guess it would be a little bit like when you see someone like an Owen Farrell or Chris Farrell. And there as well, I've been a bit crook the last few days. I only just recovered, and somehow I'm craving pumpkin soup and Subway. Interesting combination, unless Subway sell pumpkin soup. Then you're sorted. But I don't believe they do. I know they brought out the hot dogs from Subway. Well, they have just said it is going to be the first female referee for a men's World Cup. Casey Badger in charge of this matchup, evening all Tonga by 50, says Richard in there as well. Okay, so similar line to where I'm thinking at the moment for this game, with Tonga by 42. It is about to be kicked off. It will be Wales who will be in the black for this matchup. It's taking place from the Totally Wicked Stadium, as it is called. Okay, Michelle Tamaroa is going to be on the assistant flag for this matchup. And also, we have got their point of view, you want to watch the game, but you got school, says Izzy in there. Yeah. It's a shame with these 7:30 start times, because now that school holidays are over, it does mean that people aren't able to watch it. But hopefully you do find the highlights, Izzy, when you do have a bit of a break during school. That is, if you are allowed. I know during school we always used to go on just YouTube during digital. I think we were supposed to. And George would just play games, which I feel like is no surprise to anyone. But Wales going to be kicking off this one now. We'll be going long. Matty Fazar gets us underway for yet again another match of the Rugby League World Cup. Always close to the touchline, but very good quick feet from, I believe it was Kalamatangi, who was able to just keep himself in that field of play. And now Tonga will get themselves the first set of the day. Some big, powerful forwards in that forward back. Nice run forward. That time, I believe, was from the big number 22, I want to say it was. Actually, it might have been the 23. Horrell, now nice work. Tonga, tackle made there by Kyle Evans. Going back across to the right. Tonga looking to just get through this first set, get themselves a little bit of confidence under the belt. It must be the first woman in rugby league, because not in union, says Richard. And there's, yeah, they did say the first of a Rugby League World Cup to have a woman officiating in the head referee's role. And I feel like it's probably about time too. That did take place. Now 40 metres out. Tonga decide to kick it high after making around that 60 metres. Nicely taken by Kyle Evans. Wrestled down only 5 metres out from the Tongan line. Now, little juggle on the ground from Wales. And that is the last thing they wanted when they were just about to start their first set of the day. His teammates all go around them, try and tell him it's all right. But unfortunately, that is a big mistake from Josh Ralph. Needed to hang on to that. And now Tonga will get a chance to capitalise. All right, we will go like this. And we will go like this as well. There we go. 1 minute 30 into this match. John Kerr, he is not going to be a happy man with the way that one has gone. Tonga, they've got either option. They can go right, they can go left. And considering I've been surviving off dried noodles and lemon water the last few days, it's hopefully worth giving up or giving into the cravings, said Amelia. Just noodles and lemon water. Interesting choices, I guess you could say. Now, Kalamatangi, nice run for 5 metres out from the line, looking off to the left-hand side now. Skip pass from Tonga, wide now. It's out to Daniel Tupou down the wing now. He was going to be the man who I picked as my try scorer. No, he's going to be wrestled almost into touch now. No, they've done brilliantly, Tonga, to keep this one just in the field of play by half an inch. Now Tupou plays half, goes back across to the right. It seems like the Tongas have certainly come to play for this game. Captain Talkiaho wrestled down there. Getting back up to his feet, going off to the right once more. Tonga, little grub room behind, bit of obstruction there, slapped away dead by Antrobus, who was there to clean up. But this is a lot of pressure early on the Welsh. They haven't been able to exit their own half ever since the start of this match 3 minutes ago. An awful knock on, says Richard. Yeah, that was one that they certainly would have wanted to forget. And it's really caused all this extra pressure that they may not have had to deal with if they had just recycled it a couple more times. Continue going forward, but now it's going to be the goal line dropout. Kick long this time by Matty Fozzard. Nicely taken by Tonga and charging back for Noah Blake. Runs it straight at the defensive line. I wouldn't eat anything else considering when I'm sick, I usually want to sleep. I barely touch food and it was the only thing I can get into my goal without being sick, says Amelia there as well. So yeah, hopefully you do start feeling a bit better in the near future. Off to the right-hand side here for Tonga. Skip pass once again for Noah Blake getting involved. Kalamatangi tackled low, and the tackle by, it was Elliot Kerr, Now back across. Tonga at the moment, they seem to be going with the, I guess you could say, the slightly sideways tactic of running. They seem to be passing at about 30 metres or so each side. Then that's going to be opening up a little bit. Daniel Tupou down the wing. He's got a good opportunity, but he's been able to break out of the tackle and wrestle down in that tackle by Kyle Evans as well. 37 metres gained by Tonga in their set there. Little grubber in behind. Wales looking like a miscommunication. It's a knock-on though, I believe, by Wales. Nui almost was able to score that try because Wales didn't want it. Two players both sat there going, you can get that one if you like. And hey, Hamish says, Brandon, and I am 30 seconds ahead of you, says Richard. So I assume you're not watching on Spark Sport then, because here in New Zealand, Spark Sport is normally about a 30-second delay or so. And if I wasn't sleeping, I was either watching the Nanny or Virgin River, says Amelia. Nanny. Is that the one from way back in the day, or is that the wrong one that I'm thinking of? What's that one with the... Is her name Joe? I can't remember what it was called, but it was on TV a while ago. Now Tonga sitting 20 metres out, or in fact, 30 metres out from Wales's line. Futuaka tries to spin out of the tackle, taken down nicely by three defenders in the black kits. Now going off to the left-hand side, almost able to skip his way through. It was Galfusi. Oh, it's dropped though on the ground, though. I think they're going to say it was a strip, and it's going to become the penalty in favour of the Tongans now for that one. And also we've got the BBC 2 England. And I was thinking by judging by your knock-on comment, says Stone Cold. And there as well. But Kalfusi had the ball in his hand, then it was hit free out of it. Now Tonga 8 metres out, straight out in front of the post. It seems like only a matter of time before they're able to run in their first try. It's a mistake though, almost able to jump on that one. Believe it's going to be the knock-on from Wales. But it might have been a knock-on from Tonga first. Wales with some great defence, though, out on the wing. Williams was waiting for it. Like they're saying, for the first 5.5 minutes, Wales have defended. That is about it. They have had one little chance with the ball. They knocked it on. And then now they have just had to pretty much sit there the whole time and try not to concede any points, which is hard to do up against the Tongan side. They do look like they're going to be top of their group if nothing else changes in the near future. And like I mentioned, that actually books them a date with Samoa in their upcoming fixture for the quarterfinals. Wrestled down to the ground. That was some heavy contact from Hurrell. Now going back across Olds, gives it off to Reece Williams. Moves up to about 30 metres out from the Welsh line here. This won't be too bad for Wales. Just getting their hands on the ball, moving it around a bit, everyone getting a touch. Nice inside ball. Goes off into the hands of Burke. Wrestled down almost on the halfway line, the 1990s sitcom. I sort of grew up with it. Reruns on Aussie TV back before streaming TV shows and movies was a thing. Says Amelia, and yes, Stone. Says Richard, that's going to be fifth and final. 34 metres gained. And it's going to be a kick downfield, waiting for this one to come down for Tonga. Nice take from the number 22, Nui, who almost got himself a try earlier on in the contest, but just didn't quite get the bounce of the ball that he was after. Tonga, they'll be looking to complete this set, get out of their own half and kick it back deep into the Welsh territory, because when they've been inside of Welsh territory, that's where they've done their most dangerous attacks. At this point in time, nice charge forward. There was Talakai there. Now, get him back up to his feet. 7.5 minutes through. Nice short ball off to the left-hand side, but it was forward. And now, no, they've actually said it was dropped by Takiaho, the captain. Wales will get this ball back, and it seems like the crowd at the moment, there's more Welsh supporters than Tongan supporters. I haven't examined an hour, and I'm here, says JT. Oh, what subject, JT? Because I feel like depending on the subject depends on how tricky it's going to be for you to pick up from where you left off with the study, if you have studied, that is. Amelia, I hope you're feeling better soon. Says Richard in there as well. I didn't do too bad at my exams at school. I think the only one that I failed was the music theory test, I think it was. But that was because rather than learning anything, our teacher, he actually ended up having an accident outside of school where he fell over a chain. And we didn't actually learn anything. So it was pretty much a fluke, whether or not anyone passed or not. Small town problems. And also, I can't watch the game, says Gordon. So yeah, the only real option here in New Zealand, if you are looking for an option, is Spark Sport. But sadly, there aren't really that many options out And also we have got there, Amish is raining a lot of drop balls. It is raining a lot of drop balls at the moment. We've seen about 3 or 4 already in the first 8 minutes. Wales now trying to put together another set. Going off to the right-hand side. Nice pass and behind. It's looking dangerous for Wales. Nice cut-out pass. Now down the wing. Evans wrestled down by Talakai, who was certainly not going to let him down the wing without putting in a big hit first. Off to the left now. One more pass. Wales sitting 10 metres out from this Tongan line. I believe it's almost going to be the 5th and final for them here. Yes, 49 metres gain. The first test on the Tongan line, as they've said. The chip in behind. Who's got it? No one. It's going to be straight into the hands of the Tongan winger at number 5, Katoa. And how can I watch this game? Spark Sport is your best bet. Depending on where you are in the world, though, do let me know what country you're trying to watch from, and I'll let you know where your best option is. That's actually going to be put down again by Wales, but it seems like they want a captain's challenge it. Are we going to captain's challenge it? So Wales, I think they didn't have a captain's challenge. Wales are now going to have the scrum from 10 metres out from the Tongan line. This is actually a very good start to the match for Wales, compared with the fact that they were defending some more. And another one, no, says Richard. There, yeah, unfortunately, Katoa put that one down. Now it's available off the back for the Welsh. Nice drawn pass, not quite able to find that pass on the outside to Aikens, but that's going to be another penalty, this time an offside one against the Tongans. And 10 metres out, they're going to have another attacking opportunity, thanks, mate. Says Amelia. And there as well, right? Has to be. Says the referee. I think they're going to have another scrum feed here. Wales, they've got 4 on the top side, 2 on the bottom side, but they've got big Reece Williams out on this bottom side of the field. So that is certainly an option that they may look to use, although they go to the right, so I sound like an idiot. Although they might use them at some stage throughout this set, I hope anyway. Now, it's going to be Fazard, plays half. Tonga under pressure, brilliant short ball. Grant tries to go in, right. I don't know whether he actually got that ball down. They're going to have to check this one. Although he's done better than what we saw the other day, which was when the player thought he had scored, threw the ball away, and then realised he hadn't scored, so then it was actually the turnover. It's a no-try on-field decision, though, for Dalton Grant, but he almost was able to get that first try in the match for Wales. You'd have to say, though, maybe blew the opportunity. They're going to be checking this one, though. See what they can find. They want to check for a clear grounding. With the on-field decision being no try, this needs to be clear and conclusive that it was actually a try. He had the man on the outside, cut on the inside. He was tackled relatively high in the process. Okay, they're going to be checking this one. Nice and slow for Grant. I believe that's on the thigh at the moment of a Tongan player. That ball's still up, still up, still up. You'd have to say that that's held up. So I believe it's going to be Wales' ball about 10 metres out from the line here. Adam G has said that. Yeah, that's no try. I think that was brilliant work from Amone, I believe it was, who got underneath that. Tonga under him, says Richard. And there as well, he certainly was. A nice work from the Tongan defence to really make the most of what was almost a big mistake. They've managed to get back pretty well, and Gordon has said F, although not a try. Unless you're going, actually, if you're going for Wales, then I can understand the frustration, actually, now that I think about it. But that is going to be no try. And now they're going to be 10 metres back. And like they've said, the Welsh winger actually already was sitting there going like this. He knew he hadn't scored it. So I guess they could have just relied off that rather than looking at the decision. But now it's going to be Fazard. Goes back across again. Wales have still got another 2 phases before they have to kick this ball up. So they can really try and make the most of it. Wrestled down in that tackle by Kalfusi. Now going away to that left-hand side. Like I mentioned, Reece Williams, he will be lurking out on the wing. Nice play from Wales. The quick hands. One more. Reece Williams now has got it, but he was shut down, just left with 0 space at all to be able to make the most of that opportunity. Now 4th tackle for Wales. Not the best pass. It seems like the momentum's starting to go a little bit further backwards, although they give it off to the big man number 8, Anthony Walker, who gets a few extra metres in the process. Now going short side for Wales. The quick draw and pass. He's fallen down. Oh, he's just short in the handover. I think their Facade was trying to ask for a high tackle penalty. No try for you, says Stephen. And there's also now Tonga. They are going to have themselves the ball here, only a couple metres out from their own line. And it's weird because the first 5 minutes, we saw it all going the momentum the way of the Tongans. They were right on the goal line of the Welsh, and now it's been the Welsh on the goal line of the Tongans for the last 5 minutes. So it seems like a bit of a seesaw occurrence here. Now, my original prediction was Tonga by 42. I think I let my head get a little bit too swayed by the betting odds for this game. I believe they said that Wales were $51 underdogs to be able to go on and win this game, although they're looking a lot closer at the moment. So it will be interesting to see how that develops throughout this contest. 12 minutes in, Tonga now going to be going for another run up to the halfway line, actually going for the kick and behind relatively early. Trying to get plenty of distance on it. Looks like that ball's going to keep on rolling. It goes all the way dead. And now Wales will be able to go back about 50 metres to where that kick was kicked from. Katoa was almost onto it. Another metre in the in-goal area, and it could have been extremely dangerous. Now, there are rules with this Rugby League World Cup which involve the fact that since there's such a small in-goal area, I believe it changes one of the laws. That does mean that instead the attacking team would have the ball again, but that is not one of those cases. That one, so Wales going to be attacking here once again, trying to move right up the middle of the field. Evans gets involved. My phone is making a lot of noise today, and I have no idea why. There we go. It's back on silent. Now, driving very nicely up the middle of the field, finding the offload as well. Fazard keeps it alive. The bounce pass off to Old. Another nice pass. Seems like they're doing well to keep this ball alive here, Wales, rather than just allowing the one tackle and then that's the reset. They seem to be finding those offloads. Now off to Reece Williams. Great low tackle made again. At the moment, it seems like Katoa's really got Williams' number just for now, with the fact that he hasn't really had a lot of space to work with. That looked a little high here around the chin. Takiaho manages a smack straight into Anthony Walker, who looks like he could take a shot or two to the chin and not even be rocked, the big man. Yeah, just straight around the chin. Looks straight to the referee and says that was a bit high. Fazard now going back across to Wales. Okay, the commentators have just described Anthony Walker as barrel-shaped, which I feel like is an interesting analogy, but also not an inaccurate one. Well, there he goes again. Anthony Walker tries to get back up to his feet. Fazard now goes back across. Ralph with the quick ball. Doesn't quite find the hands. Seems like that Tongan pressure and defence is certainly driving Wales backwards. I have to say Wales doing better than I thought. Says Richard, yeah, I think they're surprising a lot of people here with their performance so far throughout this contest. Wrestled down there. It was, I believe it was Butler. Now Ralph considers going himself. He's run straight into a massive Tongan defender. And Fortuaka, who has got him in full mount, if we're talking MMA style. Now Fazard, final play. Wide cut out pass. Oh, no, that wasn't quite where he needed that one. Reece Williams was asking for the ball. He wasn't asking for it to be thrown into touch, though. 14 and a half minutes through this game. We are still sitting at 0-0 in this one. And he is, says Richard there, for Anthony Walker's body shape. The Olds will not be happy with the way that one went. Now, a lot of these guys, I mean, you can find them scattered throughout the Super League. I don't think too many of the Welsh players are actually in the NRL, though, that I know of. Whereas the Tongan players, you see the likes of Pinisini, who actually isn't in the starting lineup anymore, which is interesting because I know that he was supposed to be. But maybe a late exclusion from the game, Will Pinisini. Yeah, the Welsh the Welsh coach, not very happy with the way that one went. But Tonga now running the ball back up to the third phase. Now going off to the short side, trying to find the draw and pass for Katoa, and he got it wrong. And now a ball on the inside. Here comes Evans, accelerating through. And Wales will get themselves the first try of the contest. In the 16th minute, the $51 underdogs have just said, you know what, let's try and cut that in half and in half again. And that has really lit the crowd at Totally Wicked Stadium alive. The man with about as many tattoos as players in his team, Kyle Evans, number 22, his first try in the Rugby League World Cup. Broken table by Wales coach. What a try, says Richard. And there's, he will certainly be happy with that one. But the mistake was made by Talakai. I did initially say that it was Katoa, was out on the other wing. Talakai got it wrong, and he ended up juggling it. Then from there, Evans, the acceleration he was able to find just off 1, 2, 3 strides, broke through the gap. And yeah, Wales coming in now as the leaders in this contest. Nice Wales, says Nazi Williams. I'm going to have a quick look. I'm going to see what that does to the odds. Oof, says JT. So yeah, JT, what subject is your exam for? Do let me know, because it's probably one that you should also be studying at the same time. A little bit of a juggling act between Wales, Tonga, and the exam. So rugby league-wise, Tonga at the moment, the head-to-head, Wales are still paying $14 to be able to win this game. And for Wales to win by 1-7 is actually $21, which is, I mean, it's not as high as it was. Don't get me wrong. They were up to $51 earlier. But it still seems like, Wales haven't looked too bad in this match. I know that Tonga should be able to fire back later on in the contest, which I think is why Wales find themselves as $14 underdogs at the moment. But that's going to be 6-0 in the contest now. Tonga, they are down by 6. It was just the little mistake from Talakai. Cannot afford to make those little errors up against a Welsh side. Definitely not when they are playing as well as they are currently. They have had a very good first 17 minutes. They defended on their goal line brilliantly up against the Tongans, although Tonga, this will just fire them up, I think. They're going to come back firing in the next maybe 5 or so minutes. But Wales, they're going to throw Anthony Walker at the line. Great run forth from the big man. Tackled by Kalamatangi. Now, Fazard looking off to the right-hand side. But Wales, I mentioned at the start as well, they need to make those meters each time they run the ball. And that's something that they've been able to do quite nicely. How far are Wales behind points-wise for the quarterfinal, says Richard. So at the moment, the way that the table sits, they're only down points differential by -6. So pretty much anyone in this group actually still can qualify for that next round of the competition. And Wales, if they get themselves a big win here over Tonga, then the question mark even raises of, will Tonga be there? They should be, though. But their last game is going to be up against the Cook Islands, who will be playing Papua New Guinea tomorrow. We are covering that game on the channel also, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We have got there WTF, says Cooper Cronk. And there, just seen the scoreline, I assume. Question, oh no, we have got also come on Wales, says Annoy. 60 metres made this time by Wales. Nicely taken at the back for Tonga. And another good tackle made by Olds, although this time Tonga able to find that offload. Last time they tried it, it actually got them into trouble, although this time it seems like they are still willing to take on that risk, try and get the reward of the process as well. Now Pearson around the side is going to be the youngster Nui. Or New, maybe, is how you pronounce that one. I think I've been getting it slightly wrong. Now up to the halfway line for Tonga. Nice attack and play. In the first 20 minutes of this game, we see that Tonga are down by 6. But I think in the last 20 is when they're the most dangerous as well. We did see that in their game up against Papua New Guinea, where they were able to fight back. In fact, it was only the last 5 to 10 minutes that we started seeing a bit more Tongan flair coming through. Papua New Guinea were very good in that game. They will be playing the Cook Islands tomorrow. Like I mentioned, it's going to be chipped in behind now, waiting for this one to come down. Not quite taken cleanly. And Reece Williams able to clean it up, although there has been a knock-on in the process. And I believe it is going to be a Welsh scrum feed, I believe. That's what we've heard there. Although I think it was a knock-on from Wales as well. So maybe it's actually going to be a Tongan scrum feed at this stage of the match. Aikens, he'll be disappointed with that one. Who's got the ball? Who's hiding the ball? I'm looking around trying to find it. At the moment, whoever's got the ball's keeping it extremely secret. I believe there. Oh, okay. No one had the ball. That's why it was on the touchline. And did Tonga not push him, says Richard. And there as well. For that one, I think they just decided that it was initially the knock-on and then anything else that was happening did happen after that first initial one. But Tonga, they have got themselves the scrum feed now going off to the short side. Nice work. Daniel Tupou runs it in down the wing, and that will be the first try of the match for Tonga. We knew it wasn't going to take long for them to be able to fire back in this contest, and they have just done very well there, getting themselves the try back on the board. So 21 minutes into this game, Daniel Tupou able to score it. He was my first predicted try scorer in the last match up against Papua New Guinea. I didn't pick him for this one. Instead, I went with Futawaka. Should have probably stuck with Tupou for me Tongans. And try Tonga, says Richard in there as well. Yeah, they've done well to fire back. And like I mentioned, when Wales scored, it was more than likely just going to fire up the Tongans to try and get some special play going. Down the wing, Daniel Tupou walking on a tightrope. He did still have a bit of space to be able to do one more step if he needed to, but he did not. Puts the ball down. Tonga back in the contest now. It's a good finish. Kyle Evans just not quite able to cut him off down the wing. Now the question is, who will be the next team to score? Because it seems like this game's quite the seesaw battle at the moment. Me and George, one of the other Kiwi lads, we actually decided to try and go on a seesaw the other day. It didn't work out. there's a bit of a weight discrepancy between the two of us, and I ended up almost getting flung over the front of the seesaw. It would have been quite a fun one to film, but he almost landed on my face, unfortunately. And hi, says Denny, welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Going to be a tough kick from the touchline here for Taukei'aho, but he'll be going for it, the Tongan captain. We'll be hoping to get a good hold of this one. 22 minutes through. There's still plenty of time for both of these sides to be able to fire back, work out what their next move is in the tactical game of 80 minutes. Taukei'aho gets this over, though. That would be a very impressive kick for a first of the day anyway. It's from the touchline about, I'd say, 40 metres out on the angle, if not maybe more. Certainly know he's got the leg power, that's for sure. He struck it nice. It's just not quite going to curl around enough, though. So it is going to remain at 22 minutes through. 4 points for Tonga and 6 for Wales. But Daniel Tupou, when he had that space down the wing, it just looked a little bit too easy for him to be able to go over the line and get himself the first try of the match. Just felt like I was going to sneeze, so I think I blinked about 15 times. Now, Wales, they will be kicking off this one. They'll be hoping to try and stop this momentum that Tonga have just created. Fazard will be looking to kick it long. He's got a massive kicking tee. I know they're normally quite big, but that one seems like it's a little bit higher than usual. Going to be kicked off long. Going to be a bouncing ball as well for Tonga, but nicely taken. Given off now. The hands of Nui once again, and also very small ball person behind Tonga kicker, says Richard English. And also, I'm going to bed soon. Is that Denny? Of course, if you are in South Africa, it will actually be an evening game, this one, won't it? Now, going back across to the left-hand side for the Tongans. Moving to 40 metres out, the captain, Taukei'aho, the man who just took the kick, is now going to be taking the carry, and also the Tongan flags from John. A lot of Tongan flags. So that maybe every Tongan flag is how many tries they're going to be able to get throughout this Rugby League World Cup. So that would be about 25 or so. Be very handy for the Tongans, and Tonga will not make it past the quarterfinal. Samoa put a massive scoreline on them, says Mr. T. And yeah, it seems like a massive battle to have as a quarterfinal. I would have loved to see it as the semi, but it's going to be happening earlier than we anticipated. It's going to be a great game of rugby league, and we will be covering it on the channel. No Way Is That High. So yeah, Wales, they're going to be having a little look at this one for the high tackle. How high does he clip him? Okay, I assume it wasn't a high tackle. It would have to be offside, surely. That's basically what the Samoan said about England, says JT. And there's a good point. And although nice fire back from the Samoans, of course, in their game that they did play yesterday, I believe it was up against Greece, wasn't it? They were able to get a good score. And so maybe just finding the momentum at the right time of the competition. It is 8:57, says that Denny there. And this is fireworks. Says that Denny there. And hi, Amish, I'm back. Welcome back, Brandon. Hope you're doing well, mate. 25 minutes into this matchup. A little bit of a low pass from Wales, but it's worked out. It's the one try scorer so far for the Welsh, and that was Kyle Evans. We're looking forward to try and get himself another one. Amelia's back as well. Now back across to the right-hand side. Nice work in the midfield. Aikens will be driven down in the tackle. Tonga, they've been giving up easy meters at the moment in their defence, which is something that really happens in a game of rugby for Tonga. Although we did see in their game up against New Zealand a little while ago that actually also happened for them. So maybe one of those sides that love making meters but also can give up a few. I think there was a one-on-one strip, was it? No, it's a penalty for Wales, and that's a shame for the Tongans because that was on the fifth and final as well. So that is a big mistake to make. Kalamatangi, I think he tried to rip it away. Was it a one-on-one strip? Okay, so he did rip it away, but he was lying down on the ground at the time that he did try and get it. Question for you, Amish. What is your best rugby for I? Says Brandon, what is your best rugby for I? As in like the best game that we've seen so far of the Rugby League World Cup, Brandon? Is that the question? Because if that is the case, I would have to say Tonga versus Cook Islands. That's a lie. Tonga versus Papua New Guinea, sorry. Two sides played off, and it was a very seesaw battle. Now Aikens looking to go forward. And to be fair, this one's looking like a bit of a seesaw battle between Wales and Tonga as well at this stage. 26 minutes through, and Tonga are nowhere near on as many points as a lot of people expected. Burke with the nice run. Finds the offload off to Fazard, who tries to go himself. He's going to be just 1 metre short of the line. Now third for the Welsh. Going across. Nice sell and a dummy from Ralph. Almost able to cut through that Tongan defence, but it was a great tackle made in the end by Kalfusi. Now Fazard goes off to the short side. Olds with the short ball. Very close to breaking through. That's going to be fifth and final, though. Tonga defending well. Only 5 metres out from their line. Now the Salanatami. Oh, he's blown it there. Unfortunately, Fazard, he decided to try and crack the line himself. Ran straight into that Tongan defence and ended up giving up the ball. And now there's a bit of push and shove. Oh, that's not allowed. Unfortunately, they may have a look at that one. That was a double-handed push right to the face. And that might get him in a bit of trouble. I got schooled. See you tomorrow. That was a silly fight, says Richard. Yeah, unfortunately, it was a fight that didn't need to take place, and Tonga may have just cost themselves possession and maybe a man in the bin, depending on how they rule this one. Morning, Hamish, brother. Welcome in, Bertie. Hope you're doing well, mate. So, yeah, pushed in the back, then pushed forward. And then that big push to the throat, I believe it was. Yeah, it's a little bit high. That push by Kalavatangi. I think he's just going to be told to calm down, which is good news. But Tonga, they will still have this ball. I'm too used to the rugby union rules, I think, compared to rugby league. Like rugby union, they seem to have everything that they look at. As soon as there's contact to the chin or anything, it's a yellow. In rugby league, they go, that was a good shot right now, play on. And that's what they've done. And this one, that was a good shot as well. I believe Talakai ran straight at the Welsh number 12. Now going off to the short side, Talkiaho, the captain, trying to drive their way forward here, Wales. And doing well, thanks, mate. I hope you're doing well as well, says BV. I am indeed. It's an early morning start, these Rugby League Live or Rugby League World Cup matches, but it's kind of good because it gets me out of bed nice and early. And then I've got a full day of pretty much YouTubing and working throughout today, which is very fun. Got to shift some jib at some point. Now, it's going to be the set restart for Tonga, 45 metres out. Now driving forward once again, nice work. Fleming makes the tackle there on Kalfusi, although he was able to make about 5 post-contact metres. Now 40 metres out from the line here for Tonga. The drawn pass is looking dangerous. The cut pass, oh no, it's been put down by Katoa. And he was very close to hanging on to it, but just ended up juggling it about maybe 3 or 4 times and ended up putting the ball down. Actually juggled it off his face as well in the process, which is quite impressive in a way. And also, they will not get past the quarterfinal. They haven't got the team to do it this World Cup. Too much inexperienced players and the quality of most of the team as it once was. Says Mr. T, I'm doing some catch-up editing for my fan page, considering I ain't done an edit the past few days. And also, we have the question for you, Hamish. Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? A little bit earlier on. And also, Tonga need glue on their hands. Says Richard, there have been a lot of handling errors between both sides throughout this matchup, haven't there? Just seems to be the ball doesn't want to stick, unfortunately, which is always a shame when you're trying to get a line break going, and then the first thing that happens is the ball drops out of your hand. Nice run from Grant there, moving up a bit further forward. And his ankle's taken out from underneath him by Talakai, who almost injured himself in the process. That was close to a 6-more call for Wales. Now a big run forward from Kyle Evans, the lone try scorer for Wales, and nice extra meters made there. Now Wales going to be going off to the side, and they've also made the interchange of Benian has gone off the field. That is for Connor Davies, who is now back out on the field for another time in this Rugby League World Cup. Reece Williams, if he had found the offload there, it could have been dangerous, but did get his hands tied up by the Tongan defender. Now inside ball, nice work. Here comes Fleming. Wales, they seem to have some very solid boys in that fullback, which has been working pretty well for them up against the Tongan side. Now Aikens gets close. 70 metres gained. That was fifth and final, though. I don't know whether or not they realised. But Kalfusi is just about to play it. He does now. And Tonga, they're going to be rebuilding from 10 metres out from their own goal line. But Wales has certainly been holding their own in this contest. They have thoroughly impressed me here. They're still leading after 30 minutes of this matchup, 6 points to 4 over the Tongans. Now another short pass off. Good attack and run. I believe that time it was by Koala. Now 30 and a half minutes through in this half. Another run forward. This time it was from, I believe, is the number 22. Was it? Yeah, number 22, although number 22 is not actually on my team sheet, unless, is that Nui? It looked like he wasn't big enough, or was too big, sorry, to be Nui in that case. Maybe he's just put on some muscle since the start of the game. Now kicked him behind. Wales does nicely. Aikens now inside of his own territory, trying to drive back out. A lot of here makes a nice tackle on him, though. Gets him down for another tackle made. Aikens Rolls it back. Wales looking to use the right-hand side. Grant's been taken down very early. I'm just glad got my appetite back because I'm craving a lot of things right now. Says Amelia, and Tongan's entering the choke zone. Says Hanoi. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think they expected Wales to come out the way that they have throughout this fixture, and it's good news for them because at the moment, Wales, I mentioned it about the Samoa-Greece game. You don't want a one-sided affair during your group stage. You want to make sure it's nice and close. You're learning a lot about your defensive line. You get them through your sets and pretty much just putting it all together so that by the time you get to those quarterfinal matches, that is when you really make your money. And I think that's what Tonga are doing here. Wales, if they make it through to those quarterfinals, though, they are going to be a tough side and an exciting side to watch in the future. One moment, we will go like this. Here we go. Now, Olds was the man who helped make the tackle there. That's going to be a set restart. So we've actually seen about 2 or 3 set restarts for Tonga throughout this game, but none as of yet for Wales. Now back across to the left. Big contact made there by Fleming on the halfway line. If Wales can get themselves a try before the end of this first half, though, I think that will give them a lot of confidence going forward. A lot here. In fact, no, sorry, it is Tatola. He's come off the bench as one of the interchange players for the Tongan side. Seriously surprised that Tonga are not playing so well, said Richard as well. And I think it's just, I don't know, there's something not quite gelling at the moment in this Tongan side. I don't know whether it is because of players that they are missing. Futuweka has just been taken off the field. That is for Fafita. But yeah, something just doesn't quite seem to be gelling at the moment. Whether it's that offloading game, it seems like they are just going to take another bit of contact here. That's going to make it 5th and final. And now Tonga looking to the short side, maybe for the kick in behind. It's a wide cut-out pass, brilliantly handled by Kato. Gives it straight back to Lolo here. He said that was not your best pass. Have it again. It's going to go high now. Tonga looking to contest, but Evans goes for a beautiful take from the Welsh winger. And he is looking like a very dangerous individual out there on the park. And I swear, Pumpkin said it's different when you recover from being sick, and Tonga looking like they had a bender last night, says JT in there as well. I mean, I don't know whether or not that is why they are playing not the best, but I guess that would do it to your head, wouldn't it? Depending on how much of a bender they went on. Now, nice run forward here. A little bit of a juggle from Burke. It's gone backwards, though. It's going to be swarmed by the Tongan defenders. 34 minutes through, and I successfully drink an energy drink without wanting to puke, says Amelia there. And heck yeah, the whale of Billy, says Mark. And there as well is going to be kicked and behind. Looking for the touchline. Weren't quite able to find it. So now Daniel Tupou will be able to run it back at the Welsh line. Ralph helps make the tackle. He goes high and his teammate goes low. Now the skip pass. Wales now good attack and run. Katoa finds the offload to Lola here. This is now the danger zone for Tonga. Driving for the ankle tap, though, successful. And it may have stopped the momentum for the try just for now, but now Nui almost goes through. He's had the ball stripped out of his hands, and Wales get it back. That was spectacular defence from the Welsh. Right, there's a player down at the moment in back play, so they are just going to be checking on him. But this was sensational work in the one-on-one defence. I believe that was Olds who was able to just get his hand on it. Ollie Olds rips it away. Great defence. Says Hanoi there. Going down, Tonga go MMT. Says Hurricane. It looks like some sort of injury here for Wales. Might be a nose injury by the looks of it. I think it is Caleb Aikens who might have taken a bit of a knock there in the defensive side of things. But this was a big one for Lolo here. Breaking the line. Aikens, yeah, he ate the boot heel. Oh, the big man Lolo here. And I feel like that's about one of the last boots you want to have coming up into your face. And well, for such big men, they should hammer Wales, Hamish, says Richard. Although they've got some pretty big men themselves, Wales, in this lineup. Just look at Anthony Walker. He's not really, I guess it's an interesting one in a way. Because Anthony Walker, when you look at someone built for rugby league, right, you kind of think of one of these big Tongan men who are muscles for days. But Anthony Walker, like they said, they describe him as a barrel. But he's very effective. He just throws it, or very effective, sorry, just throws himself at the line and normally is very good in the process. So it's interesting the sizes and shapes that all make up the rugby league team and how much of an impact they can all individually have. His nose is still absolutely shattered at the moment for Aikens. It is kind of, it is drawing or bleeding some dark red blood, which is not what you want. And the only thing I need to worry about right now is getting past my hay fever. Hay fever does suck. I will give you that. Heck yeah, Wales will do their favourite task. Billy says Mark there. And also, I've only just joined, guys. How's things with the Rugby League, I assume it is. And at the moment, they've been doing very well throughout this game, Wales. I'd say that they have been the better side throughout the first 35 minutes. They've had less handling errors, and that has really helped them out. Although Tonga are only one big set away from scoring the try, I feel, which is why it's so dangerous. What position is Walker? He is playing number 8, so he's in the forwards. Yeah, number 8 for this one. All bit of a mistake here. I think they want the captain's challenge. Was it stripped? They've got a captain's challenge here. I'm not too sure whether or not there was any contact on that ball, but Wales are claiming that there was. A game so far, Kiwi lads, doing it all over again. You're fantastic, says Ruth in there. And we have got another live stream tomorrow morning. It's going to be the Cook Islands versus Papua New Guinea. That's going to be a sensational game of rugby league. My shoulder's gone see-through again. This is very weird that it resets itself every single time. I need to stop wearing these coloured jerseys. I've got about 3 of these, which is why you've seen so much of it in the last little while on the channel. Captain's challenge. They just need to see this one again. 35 minutes through the first half as we currently sit. Just want to see if he retains possession. He's changed hands, so they're going to say that it is a knock-on and an unsuccessful challenge, I believe. Anthony is a barrel, which means fat, can't move. That's what it means in Ireland. Anyway, says Richard. I think it's a bit different here, though, because this barrel moves pretty well. You know, like, he is an athletic big man, and I feel like that is the kind of thing some of these other sides are too scared to, or not too scared, but too, I guess, slightly, what would you say? It's kind of too structured to use, whereas sometimes it can be one of the most effective weapons out there on the park. I got my head shaved a few days ago, and tonight I'm going to my brother's school concert. I'm nervous how my old primary school teachers will react, says Amelia in there as well. So, yeah, hopefully it's not too cold for yourself at the moment. I know the weather's a bit chilly here in New Zealand currently, so hopefully it does warm up a little bit. They've had a nervous start. I don't know. I think these guys are missing Tamalolo's leadership. Wales are really giving it to them. The best game of the World Cup so far was Papua New Guinea versus Tonga. This is a close second, says JT. Yeah, that was a tremendous game of rugby league, that one. And it was the game of round 1 that everyone said was going to be like pretty much the game of the whole tournament. And it delivered, and it going right down to the wire currently. The Welsh, they are defending on their own line, sitting 5 metres out. Back across, Kalamatangi goes to Lolo here now. It's the big man, Fafita. Is he over or is he just short? I think he's short by half an inch. Okay, the referee wants to have a look at this one, which is an interesting one because if Tonga had got back up and played it again, they may have been able to get away with one more phase just in front of the line, and then they might have been able to go back and have a look at it. But it was a good run from the big man, David Fafita. He's only just come off the interchange, already having quite the impact. I'm going to very quickly... Ooh. We're going to go like that. There we go. I've made it so that my arm is less see-through, right? Does he make it Fafita? I think he might. I think the ball's on the line, and I think this is going to be the try now for Tonga. And I feel like Wales are going to cross the finish line first. I'm shouting for Wales land on my father, says Ruth. And there as well, but that one brilliantly done by David Fafita. He had like 4 defenders trying to stop him, and they still weren't quite able to stop the big man in motion. 4 minutes left of this first half, the best time to be able to score for the Tongans as well. And we're a wool hat, Amelia, keep you warm. And Samoa will destroy this Tongan side, says Stone Cold. It's interesting, isn't it, how quickly momentum can change? Because after the first week of the Rugby League World Cup, when Samoa were defeated by 54 points, I had the same comments on my YouTube chat, although it went the other way around. They were saying Tonga will destroy Samoa. So now that one more week has happened, Samoa have a good game, Tonga having a rough game. Now the momentum has shifted again, and everyone is saying that now it's Tonga who will destroy Samoa. So I wonder what's going to happen next week, whether or not it rotates back or whether it goes the other way. And Too Much KFC and Taro on this overseas trip, respectively, says Nazi. And Hamish Rayner is again spoiled chances for South Africa qualifying for semi-final for the World Cup as they share points with Zimbabwe today. Says Cutting in True Kiwi lads, says JT there. But I do like it. Oh, that one's gone over. I thought that one was going to be missing for a second, but it has been successfully converted. 10 points to 6 now. It's going to be like 20 degrees by the time I go to the concert, so I should be fine, says Amelia. Yeah, so as long as it's nice and warm. So that's the thing, just recovering from being sick as well. The last thing you want to do is get yourself sick again. And normally the coldness can fire it up a little bit more as well. Although I did learn a little while ago that you don't actually get a cold from it being cold. You get a cold from getting the bacteria and whatnot, which is interesting because I know that they used to say, put a hat on or else you get a cold. But I think it's just because when your body's colder, it does actually not fight off the bad bacteria as well. Was that complete rubbish or was that actually true? Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I was getting all scientifical on you, which felt really weird. Kiwi lads, who would have thought we could learn something on a live stream that wasn't to do with rugby or sport in general? Now going off to the left-hand side, Tonga with a few more phases left of this half. Only another 1 minute 40 now left remaining. And judging by improvements, Samoa has, Tonga hasn't, says Stone Cold. And there as well. So, yeah, I guess you'd have to say as long as Samoa play well in their next game, because if they struggle against France, then all of a sudden I think people are going to go the other way with it. But if they don't struggle against France and they have a really solid game, they could be definitely favourites heading into that game up against Tonga and may be able to put on some big points. I'm going to wear a sleeveless puffer jacket and a plaid shirt G's tonight, and I'm going to have a mask on me in case, says Amelia. And how about All Blacks in this World Cup? They have qualified for the semis. Says Coding. So the Kiwis are still yet to get themselves qualified, but they have won both of their games. So more than likely they will be going through to the quarterfinal. It's just more of the question of will they qualify first or second. And close first half, probably the only close game in round 2, says JT. Yeah, now that you say that, unfortunately, we've had so many runaway fixtures throughout this Rugby League World Cup. And I know that people were talking about whether or not there's a way of getting a ranking system. This is going to be another try for Tonga. Breaking through. Kalamatangi does get himself the try, and now it's a little bit less close going into halftime. That will certainly help out Tonga, but they've scored 2 tries in the last 4 minutes, and that has pretty much changed the momentum of this fixture. Wales slightly going to sleep at the last 5 of the half. And Kalamatangi is the man who has been able to go on and get himself the try. Don't forget your yellow guitar at halftime. Manage some of your music, thanks, says Roof there. Bro Samoa as an NRL star team still lost to England 60 points to 6. Says Moonga there. And well, what a try, says Richard. Yeah, right at the end. Been able to do very nice. And hey, how's it, Hamish, bro? Says CP. Hope you're doing very well, mate. And hope you're excited for the international rugby season just around the corner. South Africa, they're going to be playing Ireland in their first match. That is an opening game and a half right there. And it's going to be absolutely epic seeing it in action. I also know that we've got the Sevens that's going to be coming back in December, which is great news. Going to get to see that firing back up. South Africa, they'll be wanting to claim the 2022-2023 title. Hello, says JT there. Yeah, a lot better lead going into halftime now with this kick going over. It is 16 points to 6. They'll be happy with that, I would think, Tonga. They won't be completely happy with the performance of the first half. But the fact that now they've been able to get themselves that little bit of an extra lead, I think will certainly be handy for them. And they will look to continue building as we make our way through the second 40 of this match. But Wales, we've got to give them credit. They played extremely well throughout that first half. Definitely player so far for me who stood up for Wales has been Kyle Evans. He's been good under the high ball, scored himself that first try as well. And then for Tonga, if I had to pick a player, I mean, we've had a couple decent performances from some of the Tongans. I'd say Daniel Tupou, he hasn't been too bad, just been a little bit quiet compared to what we would like to see from him normally. And then also, I mean, we just saw that last try scored by the number 12, Kalamatangi. He hasn't been too bad throughout this game. One of the things that got me through being sick was that Set It Off released another version of one of my favorite songs. So I sort of listened to it on repeat. And Wales also put up a great fight. Can they have a chance to win in the second half? If they want a chance, they need to make sure that they start the second half well, because they were $14 underdogs. I'm just going to have another look now, but I would assume that they're about $50 underdogs at the moment to be able to go on and get themselves a win. Halftime now, back to studying for the morning exam. Great first half commentary, mate. Keep it up, says JT. And good luck for your exam as well, mate. Hopefully you do end up passing it. Do let us know when you get the results as well, but we have got our fingers crossed for you. Hopefully it all goes well. The big question, is it better that Ireland goes into the Rugby World Cup 2023 as world number 1 or 2? Says Richard. I guess it really depends on how you look at it. whether or not you want all of the pressure of being the absolute favourites to be on Ireland's shoulders, or whether you want that to be in someone else's court and Ireland come in as the slight favourites, but the underdogs in a way as well. Someone's got, why do I? And I almost can't go the day without listening to it, says Amelia there. And also, we have got the lol from Nazi Williams a bit earlier on. They're just having a bit of a chat with the Tongan captain. Just need to improve on what we're doing wrong. Pretty much a very basic statement, but so true from Lolo here there. Just need to improve on what they're doing wrong. So we've seen the 3 tries from Tonga compared to the 1 of Wales. We're about to see some stats up on the screen as well to tell us exactly what those running meters are sitting at, because we've seen a lot from both of these sides. Wales have been holding their own. They've made about, I would like to think, 40 meters per set compared to maybe Tonga's 45, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit lower in there as well. But it's certainly been an entertaining first half, and hopefully the second half is very similar. But anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Right, here are the stats that we were after. The tackles made, we've seen 193 from Wales throughout that first half compared to the 134 of Tonga. So actually a very high tackling half for both of the sides. Total meters gained, 769 for the Tongans and 535 for Wales. So only a couple hundred meters behind. So stats-wise, other than maybe that game that we mentioned with Tonga versus Papua New Guinea, maybe relatively the closest we have seen for total meters gained between two sides and a half. Incomplete sets, we've actually seen 6 incomplete from the Tongans compared to the 3 incomplete from Wales. 15 complete sets, though, for the Tonga side and 13 for Wales. Actually playing the ball, we haven't seen a huge amount of plays of the ball from either side. It's got the original version and the slowed and reverbed, and now it's got the Hatsune Miku version of it. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And there as well. The average meters gained 6 per time for Wales and 7 per time for Tonga. So pretty even overall on those stats, you'd have to say, although the advantage now is certainly going the way of Tonga after they were able to get themselves those 2 quick tries near the end of the half. And that is certainly going to be something that they do want to improve on in the second, get themselves a little bit further up on the table. So lose to South Africa and put everyone into a false sense of thinking Ireland are no good and then go and win the World Cup. I wouldn't say that will be their strategy. I was thinking more further down the line, like the Six Nations type thing. I've just realized I've been on the wrong microphone this whole time. There we go. We have swapped to our actual microphone. Does it sound any different, ladies and gentlemen? Do let me know, because I have just switched to the one that we should have been using the whole time, but I had not been using. But yeah, I don't think they'll look at it that way. I don't think if Ireland lose, they will go, the reason we lost is because we wanted to make people think that we weren't as good as we are. I think it's more than likely if they lose, it's because South Africa were able to beat them, if that makes sense. Now, looking through at the way that the table sits for this group, it's actually the closest group out of any of the Rugby League World Cup. And the question is, if there is a score like this in this game, what is the game tomorrow between the Cook Islands and Papua New Guinea going to look like? Hopefully a relatively close game as well, just to keep everyone on their toes for this group. But yeah, Wales, they came in as $51 underdogs. Now to win this game, they are paying $101. So the chances of that happening are relatively slim, but not impossible for them in this matchup, just because at the end of the day, Wales have been looking pretty solid in this first half. The question is stamina, though. Have they got enough of it still left in the tank to be able to go on and try and stop this momentum that Tonga are creating at this current point in time? They're showing the highlights of Samoa versus Greece. That was the game that Samoa redemption is a good way of describing that matchup. They went from losing by 54 points to them winning their next game by about 66 points or somewhere along those lines. A pretty drastic change for just a 1 week break. And yes, louder, says Richard there, and also the Kiwi lads. Let's go loud, my guys, says Nate. And there's us. Is it too loud or is it not too bad? But yeah, it was set through the webcam microphone, so it probably sounded, hopefully it wasn't terrible. It's not a bad webcam. So hopefully it hasn't changed too much. But yeah, this is the microphone that we have now got plugged in. So it will be a little bit louder. I won't put it too close to my mouth or else I might end up hurting everyone's ears. And also, let's get it. Cook Islands, Papua New Guinea. And then the gates are open now. Come on, Wales, says Rocky Edwards. And this was that was a pure power try for Tonga. Way to go, Kiwi lads. You normally call it correctly, Amish. Early days yet, says Roof. And now I can hear better, says Davita. So yeah, that is good news. Hopefully, I will remember to switch my microphone. For some reason, every time I have my StreamYard open now. It sets my default to the webcams one, even though that one's still plugged in. So I have to try and work out why it does that in the future. The win probability at the moment, this is big from the TAB here. They have said that there is a 100% chance that Tonga win this game. 100%. Not even 99% with a 1% going the way of Tonga or with the 1% going the way of Wales, just in case. They've said nope, no chance for Wales. So I hope Wales come out in the second half, get themselves an early try just to really make it, I guess, a little bit closer. And I turned down my iPad, says Richard in there as well. Yeah, it's going to be an entertaining second half. I believe both sides have made about half of their interchanges. So we will have to wait and see whether or not, like I mentioned, that stamina is really affected by both of these sides, because if they can really pace themselves throughout the second half, Tonga, they may be able to slowly and methodically just break down this Welsh defence. But if Wales go out firing early, that could be the momentum that they need to then get fired up enough to go on and get themselves possibly back into the contest. The MNT, baby, let's go Tonga, says it was Fiti in there as well. Did I pronounce that correctly? I'm sorry if I did get that slightly wrong. Yeah, but we're currently sitting at 8:30 a.m. New Zealand time almost, so the second half only moments away from getting us back underway for the second 40. And in that second 40, Tonga will want to make sure that they keep on improving like they did in the last 5 minutes of the first half. Tonga all the way, says Viniana there. And that is a team that I'm a little bit disappointed not to see on the 7 circuit. It is Tonga. Sadly, the 7 system just doesn't seem to get that same support as we're seeing for rugby league and also for the rugby union side of things. I know that Tonga, they'll be looking forward to their Rugby World Cup in 2023 for the union side of things. Do you think it's going to be a high scoring second half? I think it's going to be higher scoring than the first half. I think we're going to see more than 22 points, mainly because if Tonga start the second half well, they'll probably get themselves 1 or 2 tries in the first 10 minutes. I'd like to think that Wales will be able to get a little bit of a fire back as well in the process. Maybe score themselves 1 or 2 tries, just because Tonga, their defense has been looking strong, but we have seen the weaknesses, which is when they've given up that ball, then the line break comes and that counter-attack for Wales, which is how Kyle Evans actually got himself his first try of the match. But the other side of things for that kind of thing, I said thing a lot in that statement, is Tonga haven't looked as shaky in the defensive side of things for the last little while. Wait for Tamalolo to return and up, win or win. Still supporting our team, says Amy in there. Yeah, Tamalolo is going to be a massive player when he comes back. Is it still one more suspension week, or is he back next week? Tamalolo, do let me know. So I know that if it is that he's coming in for the quarterfinals and they're playing Samoa, there's going to be some big hits throughout that contest, that is for sure. And yes, for Tonga only though, says Richard in there as well. They are just showing Lebanon versus Ireland when it did take place. Exciting fixture between those two sides. We are lacking those close games of the Rugby League World Cup so far, though. We've only seen, I think the only group that's been able to create close games is actually this group that we're in currently. Because in that first week, we saw both games split by only the 6 points. But other than that, a lot of the other leagues or a lot of other groups have had really one-sided runaway games. And I hope that this one, I mean, it would be great to see Tonga score some more, but I'd also like to see Wales get a little bit of a chance and score a few more points in the process as well. But like I mentioned, the second half, just a couple minutes away. They're showing the highlights of Lebanon versus Ireland, and then I believe they will be straight back in to this Rugby League World Cup action. A slow start for Tonga, maybe second half. Be interesting. Wales could sneak in, or Tonga get it together and win by 40 plus. Says Nate, yeah, my original prediction of this match was Tonga to win by 42. And then the first half happened, or the first 20 minutes of the first half happened, and I went, uh-oh, I think I might be well and truly wrong here. You know, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna say Tonga by 42 here. Even though I feel like Wales have certainly still got plenty left in the tank, I think Tonga's physicality in the second half may really help them out towards a relatively big victory. Did you see the Irish letting this get away early? Or do you see the Irish letting this get away early or possibly getting back to D? Which was exceptional for 35 minutes, says it was Jonathan there. So I assume we are talking actually Wales rather than Ireland, maybe, if I'm not wrong. Unless you're talking about the game between Lebanon and Ireland that was taking place in the highlights section. But yeah, in the end, Lebanon able to get themselves that victory from earlier on. I think Wales are going to have a good first 5. And then there's going to be a really tough little patch late. Yeah, that was a bit of a cheap shot from Ireland in the game up against Lebanon. And sorry, Wales, says Jonathan. But yeah, I want to see them do well in this game, Wales. And I think they've already proven that they can hang with the best of them. But it's just, I think Tonga are going to be really angry. Last time we saw them after halftime, they came back firing. I think this game's going to be relatively similar. Their coach will not be happy with them at all. He's going to go out there and try and make them put on an extra 30 or so points. Breakfast time, says David. And there as well. I haven't actually had breakfast yet. That is going to have to be the after-game ritual, I think, for these early morning starts. And Wales must get their running game going and show their handling skills. Otherwise, trying to push their way through could be very exhausting, says Ruth. And the big thing's going to be trying to handle the stamina. Make sure they don't get fatigued with still 20 minutes left, or else that's when Tonga can be their absolute most dangerous. But I think, overall, I'd say Wales, they get a good first 10 minutes here. They have got the potential of being able to fire back into this game. It's just whether or not that first 10 minutes goes their way. I go for 48 for Tonga, says Nate there. Is that winning by 48 or a total of 48 points, Nate? Do let me know. But now both sides just about to make their way back out onto the park at Totally Wicked Stadium, as it is named. I feel like it's a very hip name to have for a stadium. By the way, will Wales make history next weekend in the Women's Rugby Union World Cup? Next weekend and beat USA and make semi-final for the first time. I believe Wales actually are playing New Zealand in the quarterfinal. That's going to be a big game for the two sides. Unfortunately, they are actually playing the Black Ferns, that is. They're playing at the same time as the men's All Blacks side, which seems like a shame. Surely they could have rearranged that a little bit so that the women were playing at a different time to the men, so that more people were able to watch the women's game alongside the All Blacks as well. Will the Lebanese get sight of a Graham and the Irish guys? Says Hanoi in there. Not too sure. I didn't actually get to see that game live. I only got to see the highlights, I should say, rather than saw. And Tonga 48 and Wales 22. Says Nathan there. Okay, so a high-scoring contest just around the corner, perhaps, for the second half. Also, ladies and gentlemen, do let me know, will we see more than 22 points scored in the second half? Yes or no? We'll see what you guys are thinking for this one. Tonga are going to be kicking off the second half, though. They are going to have the ball in hand, I was going to say, but really they'll have it on their foot as they give it the boot downfield. Wales taking it nicely, 10 metres out from the line. Ralph goes off now to the big man at number 10. That is Fleming. Yes, no. So we've got one for each at the moment in this one. And Oz versus England. And another quarterfinal, or women's quarterfinal, England should win easily, says Hanoi. A ridiculous no respect for the Black Ferns. I could come back and bite the All Blacks in the rear end, says Nate. And that's the thing. Like me, and I think I was talking to my dad yesterday about it. And they would have known the Black Ferns had a good chance of qualifying first in their group. And they also would have known that with them qualifying first in their group, that would have put them into that match that was overlapping with the Japanese game. So surely they could have done it a little bit different, had a bit more planning so that there weren't those overlaps. Because I feel like, it's just a shame that the Black Ferns don't get the recognition that they should have. It's going to be a nice run forward from Wales, moving up to the halfway line. Fifth and final, 39 metres gained. So about par of what they did have throughout that first half. Going to be nicely taken by Daniel Tupou, though. Running hard at Butler, taken down about 40 metres out from his own. Totally Wicked. That's a dangerous name for a stadium. Come on, Wales, says Roof. And Wales to win by 1-12. Taking defence more like in the first half, says Barry. And that would be massive for them. I know even for Wales, just to win this game is paying $101 to the dollar. So that is about as big of an underdog as you can have. But the thing is, they aren't out of this contest. If they get themselves a try early in the second half, they're only a converted try away from getting back to a draw. Nice run four from Tonga, though. Making it to now 30 metres out from the Welsh line, looking off to the right-hand side. They've got numbers here. Lolo here goes the short ball. Over to the hands of Hurrell. Taken down quite nicely. That is going to be the fifth and final for the Tongans now. 66 metres gain. Looking off to the short side. The draw and pass. Finding, or tried to find the offload, but it gets driven into touch. And that is now going to be the Welsh ball. And Tonga to gallop home, says Tavita in there. So what is the score prediction for yourself, Tavita? Do you see them getting a lot of tries in the second half, or do you see them managing to just kind of, I guess, do the enough to get themselves the win, but maybe not enough to really run away with it? Do let me know. And the New Zealand play their B team against Japan, says Hanoi in there as well. It's going to be interesting to see the side that they go with the Barretts missing, also a couple other players still back in New Zealand or out with injury. A good run from Fleming once again. His belly was hanging out there. Well, here tries to shut down the number 6, Elliot Kerr, who we haven't really seen a huge amount of throughout this half, I don't believe. Now driving forward once again. I read a newspaper on the internet yesterday and it said it would be bad for the women's rugby if New Zealand won the World Cup. Says Richard in there as well. I guess that's because they've won so many of them in the past. Although I did actually learn that the first ever Women's World Cup was won by the USA. Quite an interesting fact there. Now, Daniel Tupou taking it nicely once again, 35 metres game for Wales. So they need to try and break that 50-metre set at some stage soon, or else Tonga will slowly continue to march towards their goal line. Now, passed off short. Goes to Katoa. Nice run forward, but he's wrestled down in the end by Matty Fozzard. Now back across to the left. Moving to 40 metres out now. Just making those extra few metres each time they take the contact here, Tonga. And it is certainly helping them in their, I guess, their quest for the try line. Another big run forward. Beautiful run from, it was the big man, Murdoch Marcella. Now going to be passing off to the right. They're only up to third here. Nui goes back. David Fafita, the man who scored the try near the end of the first half, has done well to be able to recycle it as quickly as he did. Hurrell now back across to David Fafita. Only just had his acceleration and now he's going again. It's going to be the set restart from 5 metres out from the line here for Tonga. This is going to be extremely dangerous here. David Fafita stayed down for a little bit longer. Now going off to the left-hand side. Looking for the draw and pass. Doesn't quite find the offload he was after. Kalamatangi is lurking, waiting for this pass. Instead, they go in behind. Now all they need is to get this draw and pass right. What a shot, though, that is. That is brilliant from Kyle Evans. That deserves the round of applause. He has muscled up with Talakai. Not many people can say that they've done that, because normally when they try and say that they've done that, they have to remember back from like pretty much the time before they were knocked out by Talakai. Like that, the big shot, knocks the ball free, gives them the judo takedown in the process as well. Great hit, says Hanoi. Going to be hard for the Welsh to get their hands on that ball. Wales to win by 3 points. I'm really believing in miracles. And Hamish, can you tell top 5 rugby players internationally actively playing? Says Coding. I know that that's one that normally gets you in a lot of trouble depending on whereabouts in the world you decide the players are based. I can tell you who the Player of the Year nominations were last year, but they weren't exactly the best players of the best, I guess you'd say. So the 4 that they had nominated, I believe, was Adi Savia, Michael Hooper, Samu Karevi, and also, who was the final one that they had nominated for Player of the Year? I can't quite remember the last one. I think he might have been South African. Or was it? No, sorry, it was Mara Atoje, I think, was also in there as a player nominee. And great, D's Wales says it was Nate there. Oh, nice run forward from Wales, although not a lot of space for Kerr there. And also we'll get there, says Foe. And best tackle of the tournament so far. It was a massive hit. And definitely with the momentum that Tonga had, with the fact that they had the set restart only a few metres out from the line. It's kicked him behind now. 26 metres gained off that set. Daniel Tupou takes it beautifully and now will be charging straight at the Welsh defence. They're already up to the halfway line and still plenty of tackles to work with. Hard to type at the moment, busy working, says Defeater. And there's no worries at all, mate. Yeah, hopefully work is going well for yourself. Tamalolo, he'll be excited to get back into his work when he is back for the Tongans relatively soon. Nice leg drive from Hurrell. Now 46 and a half minutes through in this contest, and they find themselves 25 out from the line. Another run forward from the big Tongan forward, David Fafita. He has been really a dangerous ball carrier, and also go Tonga. And will the Tongans tire soon? No, I hope not, says Pirate Boy there as well. Nice run. Nui, he's got through, and he's pierced the gap beautifully. And that is going to now be Tonga's try early in this second half. And that is the one that the Welsh needed to try and avoid. But it's going to be Tessie Naiu? Naiu, is that how you'd say that? Or No? No, maybe No. I can't quite pronounce that name, but he did score the try. Brilliant stepping around the Welsh defence. He's broken about 3 or 4 tackles all in one go to then be able to go through, get his hands on the ball, and has said, yep, well, that'll do. It's going to be my first try of the match. Actually, one of the players who was brought into the Tongan side for this matchup. Added in at fullback, and it's certainly slotted in very nicely. But 47 and a half minutes through now, Tonga get themselves their try. They will be hoping to continue that momentum. So currently in the last 15 minutes, we have seen 3 Tongan tries. And yet to see something from Wales in the second half that does result in the points. Although they've had their little moments. They've had some big shots. But I mentioned about the fact that each time when Wales were making around that 30 metres or so, kicking it back downfield, Tonga were just continuing to make those extra 20 or 30 metres per set. It was eventually going to catch up to Wales. Now, Lola here about to line up this kick. Try and make it a little bit more in favour of the Tongans here. 48 minutes through. Still 32 minutes left on the clock, so plenty of time for either a Welsh slight comeback or a Wales maybe obliteration. Not quite obliteration. That sounds harsh. And thanks for the live broadcast, says Izzy. And then no worries at all, mate. We are going to be back tomorrow with Papua New Guinea versus the Cook Islands. Going to be an exciting contest, that one. And we will be back live. It is a 7:30 a.m. kickoff in New Zealand. And then we have got a few more matches taking place next weekend. And a lot of those games matter because they will be the ones that decide who makes it through to the later stages of the Rugby League World Cup. Niu says Tavita there. Oh, is that how you say it? Niu. Okay, thank you very much, mate, because, yeah, my pronunciation of that name has been rough. So I will remember that. Niu, okay. He might even score again before the end of the game. So that is very useful information. Appreciate that, Tavita. Now, we're charging forward for Tonga. They're once again going to be continuing to run. It looks like Burke might have a little bit of an injury here, Joe Burke. Looking sore, and it's actually going to be, I believe, a bit of an injury here for the number 16 for Tonga as well. Totola. Is he all right? Doesn't look all right. It looks like his back of the neck is pretty sore at the moment. And Bennett should be eyeing off every match to recruit for the Dolphins, says Hanoi. And go Wales. Love to see Wales win, says David there. And also thanks for the live broadcast, bud, says Daddy. And there's no worries at all. And like I mentioned, we have got plenty more of the rugby league scene coming up in the future. Also, the rugby union, the November internationals are just around the corner, and we will be covering them on the channel as well. So plenty of rugby league. And then we've also got the Kiwi Lad Sport channel if you are interested in other sports such as football. Also over on there in the near future, we want to do a little bit of mixed martial arts, a bit of the UFC and whatnot. And Hamish, is this all top rugby sides participating or only some are there competition-wise? I would say it's the top sides around the world who are here for this Rugby League World Cup. So there's a total of 16 teams. I want to say that all of the teams are in the top, or at least a majority of them are in the top 16 for the Rugby League World Cup or Rugby League World Rankings, I should say. Tonga once again making plenty of meters here. Only 20 meters out from the line. The quick hands, Talakai. Ball on the outside to Daniel Tupou. Going to be hard to stop him once again. A good tackle made. I believe Josh Ralph currently playing on one leg as well. It looks like he's got a bit of an injury. It is going to be continuing on for a bit longer. Tonga's backline's looking dangerous. Niu now almost going through. Now Talakai does play half. Soul dummy. David Fafita tries to spin. 1 meter out. Fifth and final now. 54 meters game for the Tongans once again. Lolo here sells the dummy. Tries to spin. I think it's close to down, but it also might be in the hands of Caleb Aikens, who's still trying to stop his nose from bleeding. They're going to have to go upstairs, and Tonga. And there as well, says Jacob, and I reckon Tonga take it easily in case of injuries or players going on reports. Come quarterfinals, Tonga starts playing finals footy, says Nate. And there as well, so they're going to be going upstairs just to check this one, see whether or not there is try or no try. Believe at the moment, I want to say it's on-field no try, but I think it was close here. Lolo here, he tries to spin. Hands went under the ball. For me, that's held up. Still held up. Yeah, I would say you can't give that because it was extremely close. But he was just able to stop it enough from going down. And is it 2 wins? Then you're in the quarterfinals, or 3, says Daldaddy. So pretty much each team play 3 games, so 2 wins should be relatively enough, depending on how your team sits. So if Tonga win this game, I'd like to say that they should go through, mainly because Wales will still be on 0, although it depends on whether or not Papua New Guinea win against the Cook Islands, because then it could be either of those two, maybe leapfrogging. But yeah, 2 wins theoretically should almost secure a quarterfinal spot. But in some of the tighter groups, maybe you do need that third one as well, just to make sure that you are making it through. But if you've got all 3 wins, you are guaranteed to go through to the next stage. An amazing held-up, says Anoy. Yeah, very good defence from Wales there. The goal line, desperation from the Welsh, but it was just enough. And now Wales, looks like it is going to be Joe Burke. Gives it off, and it looks like Walker's actually come onto the field now for the Welsh, so that's going to be a big man to throw at the line. They're not going to use him just yet, though. Deciding to use one of the smaller individuals. Remember, Cookies beat Wales, and there as well, says Stone Cold. Exactly right. So the Cook Islands, they are still the side that are, I guess, sitting a little bit higher up in the rankings, but that game up against Papua New Guinea tomorrow, certainly going to be a determining factor for them as well. Nice run forward from Reece Williams. Hardly seen him throughout this game. We saw him a little bit down that left wing in the first half, but has become a little bit more invisible in the second. Big run forward from Anthony Walker. And also True Stone says a Richard in there as well. So yeah, if the Cook Islands manage to get themselves the win over Papua New Guinea, we'll actually have our top 2 confirmed for this grouping. Now, going to be Niu. Runs it back at the line. Good contact made on him by Big Fleming. He's had a good game. He's got a gas tank on him. And he has probably, I mean, he's been interchanging every once in a while, I think, but he's still been out there a majority of the game. Dan Fleming, one to watch out for Wales in the future, perhaps. Definitely if he can keep on going the way he is. Kyle Evans, another player to watch out for, as he has been very impressive lately. And come on, Cook Islands, why isn't Sean Johnson playing for the Cookies? Wasn't needed by Kiwi coach Maguire, says Nate. Would have been quite cool to see him playing for the Cook Islands there. Now, 40 metres out, Klamatangi, one of the try scorers for Tonga. Being wrestled down. Okay, they were holding him down for a bit longer than they would have liked to, but Fozzard was trying to stop any chance of the quick break. Tonga make the mistake there. Did it go backwards or forwards? They've said it was the knock-on, and now Wales are going to have themselves a scrum feed. I don't see Cookies beating the Kumals, says Stone Cold. So yeah, may make that group just a little bit closer. Then Papua New Guinea in their last game, they'll be able to go head-to-head with the Welsh, and that could be a good game of rugby league. Just with how evenly matched those sides could end up being, depending on the result of this one as well, of course, may end up being one that could cause a bit of an upset. A moment. Hay fever is enjoyable in a morning, and I'm a Papua New Guinea fan, so I guess my country could pull a first World Cup win by tomorrow. Go Papua New Guinea, says Barry. Yeah, they certainly looked great in the game up against Tonga. And I think they were pretty unlucky at times not to get more points on the board. So I'm looking forward to their game up against the Cook Islands. I think they're going to be strong. And also we have there, how much time left? Does Wales have a chance? So at the moment, there are still 27 minutes left on the clock. Oh, Wales have dropped the ball, though. That didn't help there for them. But I would say might be a little bit too many points to make up. They need 3 successful converted tries without Tonga getting any points on the board, which I think at this stage of the match seems quite unlikely with Tonga now starting to find their momentum. So I'd say they don't have much of a chance. They could score another try, though, but I don't think they'll be able to get 3 uncontested tries. Okay, 54 minutes through. It's going to be the scrum feed on the halfway line. Tonga feed it in. Amune now gives it off nicely to Katoa, who's just thrown forward by Wales. They actually gave him an extra 5 or so metres, and now they're trying to take those 5 back, driving him just a bit further backwards, almost past the 40-metre line. Now another big run. Now they have used a lot of those forwards well and effectively. Murdoch, Masilla that time making the metres up the middle, and then Tonga, when they decide to sling it wide, that is when they are dangerous as well. They've got a nice balance. That ball's going to be dropped by David Fafita there. So now Wales, I believe, are going to have themselves the scrum feed. And Gigi was never in doubt. Tonga get the dub, says Unique there. And also, the winner of this group play France or Samoa. So the winner of this group will be playing up against... Oh. Yeah, so they will be facing the winner of France or Samoa. I believe that will be Samoa, though, I'd like to think. So we could see Tonga versus Samoa as a quarter-final fixture of the Rugby League World Cup, which would be massive. 25 minutes left. Says Nate there, mate Ma'atonga, says Pirate Boy. And there as well now, it's going to be fed in by Wales. Ball available at the back for Fozzard. Goes off to the side to Grant, who's another name we haven't really said too much of in the last little while. Although, I guess the attack from Wales has been relatively straightforward. They've been throwing the men round the side. It's been Ralph having a couple cracks. Then they use those big forwards, and then they kick it downfield. We haven't really seen too much of the backs getting involved recently. Nice extra couple meters made there. But it was the number 18, Connor Davies, now going off to the left-hand side. Good draw and pass. This is better from Wales. Trying to get that ball shifting a little bit with Keir down the wing. Rhys Williams going to be playing half now. He tried to get back up to his feet. He wasn't too happy there. But it is still going to be, once again, the reset nonetheless. Back across. The big man now, Anthony Walker. Gets tackled by Kalamatangi. And Samoa need to beat France to go through, says Unique. And I guess the same can be said that France need to beat Samoa to go through. And I'm eating too much porridge, says David. And then, yeah, luck for Samoa, says Pirate Boy. Now Tonga have been able to regather only a few meters out from their own line. Katoa does very nicely. So that these two sides, for the last 5 minutes or so, have been actually relatively evenly matched. We haven't seen anyone really getting those big line breaks, going close to scoring the tries. It's been more of a battle in the middle of the field, which is why those post-contact meters that Tonga are finding themselves now are going to be so massive for them, because that will continue moving them just a little bit further down into Welsh territory. I think Kalamatangi trying to get back up to his feet there. Yes, he was. Now back across. In the hands of Tatola, the number 16. Moving up to halfway now for Tonga. Looking off to the left-hand side. Going to be using Kalamatangi again. Been a good attacking weapon for the Tongans throughout this contest. Now going off to the right-hand side. It's fifth and final. 60 metres gained this time. Now an Rhys Williams takes it nicely. Does end up falling onto his back. Like he was taking maybe a bump in a wrestling ring. Now going short side, thought there was a bit of a gap there. Nice work from Keir. He managed to get a lot further than a lot of people anticipated. He's going to be put now into, it's almost a pin for a wrestling. Is everyone just wrestling now? Kind of had his shoulders down for a little while. He could have been pinned for the 1, 2, 3. 57 minutes, I should say, through this game. Now trying to pierce the gap. Ralph, he's been running hard with the ball. Yeah, that's true. The winner of France versus Samoa. Go through and play Tonga. Says Unique there. Now back across. Another few extra meters made. That's going to be another set finished by the Welsh. Only 34 meters gained. So once again, I'm going to be mentioning it. 60 meters for Tonga compared to the 34 meters of Wales. Almost making double the meters, which is going to really be dangerous soon. Katoa. It's another good carry. A little bit slower getting up to his feet there, Katoa. No hurry at the moment for the Tongans. They've got themselves a nice lead. They want to avoid injury and they want to avoid suspension. I feel like the best way to do that is to just take that foot off the gas a little bit. Play at about an 8 out of 10 for the next few moments of this game. Maybe up to about 65, then start to ramp it up again. Although I don't think the Tongans know how to do that. They normally either play at 110% or they don't play. And Fotuaika. Now, another carry. He's a player we haven't seen too much of. And in fact, it wasn't even him. It was Fanua Blake. So we still haven't seen a lot of Fotuaika throughout this game. Big run from David Fafita. It was great in that last game up against Papua New Guinea. I believe he scored in both contests, and surely Tonga wins. Says Pirate Boy there. Is that in their next game up against the Cook Islands? I would assume they'd have a decent chance of winning it. Nice draw and pass. Definitely with plays like that. Daniel Tupou scores the try for the Tongans, and 59 minutes in, that will be another try for them. Oh dear, Tonga looking very fit and fast. Our Wales are going to struggle. Come on, Wales, get a try. Nice, exciting commentary, Amish, says Ruth. And there's also the try for Richard. And also the Welp, RIP, the points total, says King Hoops. And let's go Tonga, says Nate. They must have heard you, because they were able to get themselves a nice try there. Tonga finally breaking through their Welsh defence again. They've been right on the verge of it, but it's that territory. Like I mentioned, those meters made, they just kept on getting them further and further trapped. I remember me says to Aussies, welcome in, mate. It's been a little while since we have seen you last. I want to say it might have been either Super Rugby or International Rugby Union last year, or earlier this year, I should say, that we did see you last, or actually maybe the BBL. Now I think about it, one of the three. Hope you keep them well, mate. Now 20 minutes left on the clock. We're 3/4 of the way through this game. My prediction at the start of the match was that Tonga were going to win this game by 42 points. Now, last game for Tonga, I managed to get bang on the money. I said they'd win by 6 up against up against Papua New Guinea. I hope that there's somehow a way that I can get another Tongan prediction right. I haven't been on your stream in a while, says the two Aussies there. Now, a lot of here are going to be lining up this kick. Close to the touchline, not going to be the easiest kick he has to take of the night. But still, very handy kicker off the tee. A lot of hair. And ready to line it up. Someone's found themselves a bit of a horn in the crowd. By the sounds of it, and also, how's it going? It's going well. Been keeping busy. And how are you supporting this World Cup, Kiwi lads? Says Unique. I mean, I'm from New Zealand. Wow, that's a shocking kick. That one almost spiraled the wrong way. I think it probably missed by about 20 meters or so. But yeah, I am from New Zealand, so of course I should want the Kiwis to do well. I also love watching all the Pacific Island teams just because I've done so much of the rugby union with those sides. But as long as we see, I want to see, I don't know. I want to see close games throughout the finals. I feel like that's the one thing that I want. Go BBC, worst kick of the tournament, says Richard. And yeah, how's it to Aussies? Great to hear from you again, says Ruth. And Aussie there, Tonga does not start fast, but they finish strong though. There's Dal Daddy. Yeah, it's going to be interesting when we see the match up against the side that start fast and don't finish as well. Because then we'll see relatively seesawy kind of odds, I guess, throughout that matchup. Daniel Tupou, another nice run forward. He's already got himself the 2 tries. The last stream I was on was for the Ashes. Okay, so that was actually, that was December last year, wasn't it? Or January this year. So yeah, it's been a good 10 months or so. Fortuaka taken down nicely there. Tonga currently sitting around 45 metres out from their own line now, past across Galfusi. There's another crack, but Ralph helps make the tackle on him. MMT says a Betty and high roof and go Tonga. And yeah, was the blank name, the space bar. Now a nice run from Hurrell. Tried to find the risky offload. That's going to be a forward pass, I believe, from Wales. Knock on also from Tonga. A knock on then again from Wales. Referee's got a big decision here of what she decides. It's initially going to be the knock-on from Tonga, I believe. First knock-on from Tonga, they have said, so it is going to be Wales who have got themselves a scrum feed. And wait, yes, you're on 18K now, says the 2 Aussies. We certainly are. We have been growing hectically over the last month. And I haven't done the tally yet, but I'd like to work out how many live streams we have done throughout 2022. Because I feel like it's got to be close to like that 500 to somewhere in between 500 and 1,000 probably, the amount of matches. And I remember last time you were on like 9K, says the 2 Aussies there. I'm from New Zealand, full Samoan, supporting Samoa, but I'd be happy if Samoa, Tonga, or New Zealand win, says Unique there in MMT. And hey, Fozzie, long time no see. Where you been? Says it was Nate. And come on, Tonga, says Betty. And I watched the last live stream, says Unique. And there's one. We have got plenty more of the Rugby League World Cup coming up. Rugby Union, the international fixtures are coming back very soon. That's going to be another little mistake from Tonga for offside. So it is going to be the Welsh clock. Currently, Tonga find themselves with a 20-point lead. They do need another 22 points if my score prediction is going to be correct. That actually seems like a lot. That's like 4 tries, isn't it? Fingers crossed. Now back across from the Tongans here. Nice work. Aikens breaking through the defensive line almost, but Hurrell making the nice tackle. It seems like Tonga, their defense, been relatively sound throughout the second half. I think Wales, they got that early try, but then from there, Tonga were really able to shut down those little opportunities. Remember, I was trying to get you to stream AFL, and there, as I said to 2 Aussies, yeah, I am still yet to give an AFL stream a go, but maybe in the future on the Kiwi Lads Sport, we could see how it would go for ourselves. It's more of the case of I have no idea about AFL in terms of players and whatnot. So I think that would be my struggling factor. And greetings from Cape Town. It's nearly 10 p.m. here. Good luck to the Aussies for their game, cricket and rugby. Says Roof there, and MMT says Pirate Boy. Now going back across to the left-hand side. It's going to be Walker. Almost breaking through the line. He's very good at positioning himself. He kind of goes with the arched, I guess you call him a tripod in a way, the way that he puts his hands down and then springs up the legs. It's almost like what you'd expect in a rugby league or rugby union breakdown in terms of that body position. A lot because the AFL season is over, says the 2 Aussies there. And also 5-4 points, a try, Amish, says Richard. And also, come on, Wales, one more try, says Nate. And huge thanks from Hawaii, bro. They do not show rugby out here. Rankings should still be 1 Aussie, 2 New Zealand, 3 England, 4 Tonga. What do you think? Says Dal Daddy. I feel like that's not too far off in terms of the rankings. New Zealand at times, I think, can easily go down to a 3rd or a 4th team, depending on how they go. But yeah, Australia certainly coming in as favourites for this Rugby League World Cup. And from their two first performances, I don't think we're seeing too much otherwise either. Seems like they're going to be a dangerous threat throughout this competition. But currently 15 minutes left on the clock here. Tonga want to try and continue ramping up those points. It's going to be a nice tackle made by, I believe it was Tom Hopkins. And wait, who do you go for? And there says the two Aussies. Are we talking AFL or in AFL? I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't name one player at the moment who's playing. I used to watch Cyril play. He's about the only player I can remember from back in my AFL days. And that's for the very next season or whichever is next, says Ruth. And there is our now the dummy run, almost looking like it was going to take place, but instead going off to the right now, kicked it behind from Lolo here, looking like it's close to going into touch, tries to keep it alive, and did he? This will be a bit of masterclass if he was able to. Lolo here may have just scored close to try of the tournament if this is going to stand, and I think it's going to. I think Daniel Tupou down the wing has just done some absolute brilliance, but they're going to have to check it just to make sure that he did get it right. It could have been a massive one for Daniel Tupou down the wing, though. And Lolo here could have scored it. And well, Australia trying number 2. And yeah, and it is AFL fun to watch, says Unique. And also, well, do you know the player as my profile picture? No. No, I do not. Oh, I think he's just kept that one in the field of play. That is a brilliant try for Tonga. If that is all legal and everything is good to go there, he's onside. So the chase was very good in the end. In fact, it wasn't actually Daniel Tupou who kept it in. It was actually Kuala was able to keep it in. And also we have got the Unique, it's the best sport. You should watch some, says the two Aussies there. Okay, they're going to have to check to see whether or not that ball touches the line. If it doesn't touch the line, I believe this try will stand. If it does narrowly touch the line, oh, it's so close. They're going to probably say it's in touch, unfortunately. I hope they don't, but it is. I think it's going to be in touch. This angle's going to show up better, though. Oh, it's on the line. I think it's on the line. Yeah, I've wanted to watch it. I just don't understand the rules, says Unique. It's on the line. That's a shame because that was an absolutely brilliant one for Tonga, but it's going to be ruled out with the ball being on the line. About as unlucky as you can get. It's going to be no try. And instead now, Tonga, with that ball going into touch, it will actually be Wales who have got possession now. No, boo. And do you cover all sports, says Unique? We cover a majority of sports that we can. So we have done a lot of cricket in the past. We haven't been able to do the Cricket World Cup purely because of the copyright system on YouTube. Sadly, there's another YouTube channel that's bigger than ours that keeps on copyright striking us if we try and do any commentary. Similar to, it's literally this setup, but they still try and take us off YouTube. So we haven't been able to do too much cricket for the World Cup, but after the Cricket World Cup, we will be back to doing cricket. We've done a little bit of football over on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel. I highly recommend checking that one out as well if you do love other sports. And we also cover a bit of sevens, rugby union, rugby league, pretty much anything along those lines. We've also even done a little bit of mixed martial arts and boxing in the past. And also, Kiwi Lads, do you understand the rules? I do have a general idea of most of the rules. Overall, I think we actually studied AFL a little bit in PE at school. Fun fact, when we went through, it was pretty much we did AFL, Gaelic football, korfball, and a couple other ones as well. I believe, yeah, you, says the two Aussies. Another good idea, says the two Aussies there as well. It's going to be a nice run forward from Wales, moving up to the halfway line now. 13 minutes left on the clock. Reece Williams goes across to the right-hand side. Trying to spin out of that one. Niu actually taken off the field now for one of the interchange players, which is going to be Kuala. Once again, they have actually shown that one. He's actually already been out on the field, though. Hopkins now with the short ball. Tonga with another good tackle made, although a little knock on the ground. Tonga will now have themselves a scrum feed. Well, Tonga really mean business. This is a great quick pace. Poor Wales can't see the players. Are they like lightning super fast, says Ruth. And yeah, they've been able to maintain this tempo the whole game, Tonga, which I think is also something that will benefit them going further in the competition. Their next game is up against the Cook Islands. They will be a tough opposition, but I think they will still be able to get themselves the job done. And that fixed Kiwi lads, do you want me to help you find a team for you to go for, says the two Aussies? I guess I'd be better off waiting until the AFL season starts up again, maybe, beforehand. You did Irish game. Or you did Irish. Good on you, Hamish, says Richard in there as well. There was an Irish match that I'm sad that I wasn't able to cover, which was actually Munster versus Leinster. They didn't show it here in New Zealand, but the other games were postponed. So we didn't actually get to see them take place here in New Zealand. Whakawaka. So far, we have seen 330 tackles made by Wales compared to the 219 from Tonga. So it's been a high tackling work rate for both of these sides throughout the game. Tatola now goes back across. Lola here. It's going to be a loose ball. Reece Williams, every time you see him trying to charge onto that ball, and he never quite has the acceleration to be able to get to it. Now going off to the right-hand side. In fact, sorry, left off to Whanua Blake. 10 metres out from the line now. This is going to be another dangerous position on the field for Tonga. Their fifth and final, making the 50 metres in the process. Now looking for the offload. Going for the little grubber in behind. He's going to be chasing it himself, and it's tapped dead by, I believe it was Benny in who had to try and get onto that one. Hey, just wondering, could I have mod? Says the two Aussies in there. I know that at the moment we seem to have enough moderators compared to, I guess, viewers, but when we do look for moderators, it will be the ones who have been on the streams regularly for the past little while. So I guess you probably would almost qualify into that category as you were a regular for the Ashes. Oh, did RTE player not work, Amish? Says Richard in there. I wasn't able to get it working, unfortunately. And you have a gaming channel, just sub to all your channels, says Unique. Yeah, we do have a gaming channel. We do a little bit of Wii Sports and whatnot at the moment on that one. But we did also do a gaming video on the main channel, Samoa taking on Greece, which is an interesting one. There's a lot of swearing in the gaming channel, though, I should mention. So anyone who doesn't like swearing, that's probably not the best place to go. Although most of it is censored. It's just George edits those videos and a lot slips through. Now Tonga back across for Noah Blake. Now great leg drive 1 metre out. He's got very close to the line there, but it's a great last-ditch effort from Wales. Now back across. They're only up to the second. David Fafita with the big fend. He's always hard to put down. Olds is able to do a decent job, though, to shut him down for long enough. Like they're saying, Wales, they are working hard. Currently, they are 20 points down, but they do not want to concede any more points up against the Tongan side, although it's going to be tough to do because Talakai ball on the outside. Daniel Tupou for the hat trick. And that's going to be another one for the Tongans. Now, that will move them up onto 30 points with a kick to come. He's a very happy man there by the looks of it, Daniel Tupou, although he's not even smiling. I assume he's smiling on the inside, though, after getting himself the hat trick. 71 minutes through. Still 9 minutes left. The thing is, Tonga could still get themselves one or two more tries at this point in time, the way they have been playing. But Lola here went in behind, found the hands nicely. Talakai with the draw and pass. And that's something I have liked about the way that Tonga have been attacking, is they know that they've got the size, they've got the power, but instead of deciding to back himself there, Talakai, he just saw how open it would have been on the outside if he did pass it off to Daniel Tupou, and he decided to go with that good team etiquette in the back line for the Tongans. And Evans just wasn't quite able to stop him when he was down the wing. Now 71.5 minutes through. By the time this kick is taken, there will be 8 minutes left on the clock, and the kickoff will be going in favour of the Tongans. It looks like at the moment he's got the eye goggles going on. I don't know if they actually work. Do they work? No, might. I feel like I just look a bit silly now. And also some A2 Aussies. Is AFL similar to gridiron American football? It had to be pretty tough to play that, says Ruth. And there's, all right, it's actually going to be Talakai now who's going to be lining up the kick. Taking some deep breaths. Haven't seen too much of Talakai's kicking. And yeah, tell me the basics. Says Unique in there. All right, Talakai, he's got someone pulling a finger in the background, which is always very nice. But he's got the kick over, so maybe it was the lucky finger from that random man who's probably now getting taken out of the grounds. But it's going to be very nicely done by Talakai. Getting the conversion, and now it makes the score 32 points to 6 in favour of Ma'a. Oh, nice work. Just watching the replay. Daniel Tupou, he's done well because he almost dropped it. It was almost slipping out of one side. He managed to regather it, though. And the fact that he was willing to hold that ball on that near side where the contact was coming from just shows how comfortable he is with holding on to the ball in pressure situations. The games that are taking place next round on Monday at 3:30 a.m. It's going to be Tonga versus the Cook Islands. That's going to be an exciting game, and we will be covering that one on the channel. Also, the Cook Islands playing Papua New Guinea tomorrow. That game is another one that we will have on the channel. And then Papua New Guinea, they are going to be playing Wales. That is on Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. We will be covering that one on the channel as well. So there's plenty more coming up over the weekend for the Rugby League games. I believe we haven't actually got too many of the Rugby League games over the weekend. We're going to do Samoa versus France as well. So Monday and Tuesday next week is our best time. Probably the finger from that random man who's probably getting taken out of the ground says unique. Now nice run down the wing from Tonga. Jeez, they're going again. Talakai almost able to find that offload. 6.5 minutes through. Tonga are not finished yet at this stage of the game. Now going to be back across. Short pass to Whanua Blake. Finds the offload, keeping the ball alive. Wales defence is starting to look very scattered. Offload. It was a rough one, though. And even then, Wales almost putting down that ball in the process. Who did Australia play, or who will Australia play in the quarterfinals? So the way that the quarterfinals are set up is it's going to be the Group C. Okay, so they will actually be playing the second place team in Group C. So that will either be Ireland or Lebanon at this stage. So they'll be playing one of those two, and then New Zealand could be playing either Fiji or Italy, depending on how their match goes. So go Tonga, says Sieni there. Only 6 minutes left. Wales are going to have themselves another defensive set to go through, as the Tongans are going to have the attacking scrum feed. And also Roof, well, not so really. I think you should search it up. And there says the two Aussies. And MMT Baby says Pirate Boy, probably Libs. Says unique. So, yeah, it could be Australia versus Lebanon, which could be an interesting clash there. And then New Zealand versus Fiji would also be a big, hard-hitting affair if it was to take place. But Whanua Blake does well here. Just stay on his feet. He's having to work hard. Now they have been told to let him go. Now Whanua Blake, I think he's going to get a try by the end of this game. 5 minutes left. It's a very optimistic statement, but looks like he's going to be first receiver a majority of the time, although this time they are going to be slinging it wide. Nice pass there from Tonga. The drawn pass. Daniel Tupou does well to take it. It wasn't the best pass, though. Back across. 5 minutes on the clock. Tonga not done yet. It's going to be a good tackle from Walker. Lands on the back of the Tongan as well. Now, they're up to fifth and final. Goes himself. He's a metre short of the line. Believe that was Sonny Luke. He thought he saw the goal line as an option, and Wales were able to stop him from getting through. But Daniel Tupou, the man of the match, he did get himself the hat trick throughout this game and big posts. And also, as you will see, there's 4 posts on each side. The 2 big ones in the middle and the goals are small ones. You need to get it to intertwine. I like the word intertwine. It's also been a long, long time since the Crows won the flags, says Nate in there as well. But now, nice carry forward from Evans. Now, if I had to pick a Welsh player as man of the match, I would have probably gone with Kyle Evans. But he's been a bit quiet in the second half, I've noticed, compared to the first. In the first half, he scored the try. He was pretty much everywhere out there. He was putting in the big hits. Now, nice pass out there backline, though, for Wales. Now it's out into the hands of Evans, that man that I just mentioned. He's run straight into the number 6, Elliot Kerr. Oh, sorry, that's his teammate. So he ran straight into Amone. A pass back across. That knee still seems to be giving Ralph a few troubles. He keeps falling down. That's going to be fifth and final. Tonga jump on it. It's going to be a handover anyway. And now Tonga going to have another chance. There are a lot of players on shaky legs at the moment. The last change being made for Wales. That is Walker off the field. Coming back on, Joe Burke. Looks like there's a bit of cramp going on out there on the park as well for Conrad Hurrell. Doesn't look like he's too comfortable at the moment, but Tonga on attack have looked comfortable at times throughout this game. It's out to Daniel Tupou, who's got 4 now in this contest. Just gets to run it in. They want to check this, though, in the build-up to make sure that there was nothing too wrong. You can't throw. You have to kick or handball, says the 2 Aussies. And there as well. Right, they're going to be checking this one on the video referee to see whether or not there is... Okay, they want to check the last play obstruction. See whether or not that does exist for this try of Daniel Tupou. But he has had a very good game. He's been able to run in quite a few easy tries. In fact, majority of his tries that he scored throughout this game Oh, yeah, nah, there is a bit of a run through there. He made contact, so they might end up saying that that's obstruction, and that might be a no try for Daniel Tupou. We're going to have to go like this and take it back to just the 3 tries that he has had for himself throughout the game. Yeah, Talakai, he went straight through, ran straight into Dalton Grant. Yeah, I'll switch it up. I'll see if I can understand how long till full time. Only 3 minutes left in this game between the two sides, but that's going to be a no try there for Daniel Tupou. It would be a bit disappointed, but it would have been worse if it was his hat trick. And Tupou, one of the best wingers in the NRL. Does the Adelaide Crows know how to handball? Says Nate there. It's going to be kicked into touch. Downfield, about 35 metres out from their line now. Wales are going to have themselves another quick tap. Big shot there from Hopkins, or on Hopkins by Talakai, who's frustrated with that obstruction. Your score, our prediction is getting close, Kiwi lads. Another accurate assessment so far, says Roof. Although they've taken those ones away, now Wales are going to try and get back. But yeah, I think they've done well to get almost to 30 points ahead with how close this game was for the first half. I roll it now, another big run from it was Antrobus. He had a black eye heading into this game. I'm not sure whether he got it for the last game or whether it was just in a training drill that he decided to end up tackling with his eyeball. They got a run there from Fazzard, someone who we haven't seen too many runs from at this point of the contest. Now another offload attempt. It's going to be forward though, and now it gives Tonga one last attacking opportunity with just the 2 minutes left on the board. Joe Burke also has a bit of a black eye, so it might just be a Welsh thing. You just got to rock up to the game with a black eye and the black kit, because at the moment they haven't been playing too badly, Wales. Even though the scoreboard does flatter in favour of Tonga now with the way that it is sitting, Wales was still the first team to score. They were pushing them at times. I haven't seen a crow catch a ball with its mouth, and your prediction is still impressive, says Stone Cold there. Rescore twice, please. Keep my miracle alive, or my miracle multi alive, says Unique. Yeah, he's going to have to score very quickly. Although it's going to be an attack and play for Wales, so maybe he'll be able to get himself the 1 try. Nice run up the middle from Grant. Moves up to halfway, decides to just take the contact. That is the first tackle. And bloody hell, 36 or 32-6 now, says Fleshin. Now back across. It's going to be a good carry forward from Antrobus once again. Now going off to the right-hand side here for Wales. Looking for the draw and pass. Good hands. No, that's all. Yes, he has managed to regather for Hopkins, although it's going back for another penalty. That's going to be in favour of Wales. Right, this was a cheap shot, I think, on one of the Welsh players. They may even go upstairs. If this is a card or some sort of suspension, this would be really, really dumb from the Tongan player. And also we have got the Kiwi lads ban that bot in there as well. I was just leaving it around just in case someone wanted a lady friend for a bit. Now, yeah. It's a big shot on Olds, but I don't think it was a cheap shot to the extent that it looked in there. So I don't think there was any malice in it. And what was your prediction? I said that Tonga will win by 32. No, sorry, 42. I went 42. In the end, Olds looks like he's got quite the sore shoulder. Yeah, shoulder on shoulder would have been a bit of a stinger down here. That last try to win, says Big Hoops and Bruh, says Nate in there as well. Right, it looks like Old's going to be going off the field with that injury. And a bit of a clap from the crowd as well. It's a bit of a shame, really, because with 40 seconds left on the clock, if that's going to be a season-ending injury or a serious break or something like that, he'll be disappointed because this game was pretty much over. There was nothing in it other than just getting smacked in the side, and Tongan ride the horsey, says Pirate Boy. And there's but Wales, they're going to have themselves another attack here, taking a quick tap and going. Whoa, that's big contact. To close out a match, Joe Burks decided he wants to give himself another black eye. Whatawaika made the tackle there alongside Whanua Blake. A little bit of a slip there from Tonga when they were trying to defend. Now they're kicking behind. It's going to be sitting up nicely. Tonga able to clean it up. And now it's going to be Koala. He's got one last chance. We've got 30 seconds on the clock, maybe 2 phases left in this one for Tonga, depending on how quickly they do manage to get through them, unless they don't even have a single phase. Maybe they just keep on going and going. Although now they have been tackled down. 15 seconds left on the clock. Is that the full-time siren? We're still about 10 seconds away from the full-time of this matchup, and that is going to be called as time, the end of the game. Tonga 32 and Wales finishing on 6. We have got Kyle in the chat. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing very well. That went the way I thought it would, says Flesh and Well Kiwi. Says the two Aussies and MMT all the way, says Annie. So they will be sitting at the top of their table now with a points differential a little bit better than +6 like they had after the last week. They will now be sitting at that points differential of +32 as well. But the next game we are covering on the channel for the Rugby League World Cup, ladies and gentlemen, will be tomorrow morning, same time as kickoff was for this one. And it's Cook Islands versus Papua New Guinea. That's going to be a fantastic game of rugby league, and we will be here covering it every step of the way. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Do let me know also what you thought of that game. And the chat MMT says, Pirate Boy, well, Kiwi lads, good to see you once again. I'll try and be more active on your streams as I get used as I used to be MIA. Or I used to, sorry. I'm a go now. See you, mate. And thanks, about awesome broadcasting, bro, says Dal Daddy. And GG says Zeppelin in the chat as well. Yeah, good win for Tonga after a tough start to the match up against the Welsh. Were able to score themselves their very first try of the contest. That was actually Kyle Evans, who had a tremendous game for Wales, but in the end, Tonga, they showed their class. Tupou got himself the hat trick, and it was a very nice man of the match performance. Let's go Tonga M&T, baby, says it was Pirate Boy. Yeah, nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, like I mentioned, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Check out the other Kiwi Lads channels, the Kiwi Lads Sport and the Kiwi Lads Gaming. They are both our other pride and joys. And thank you, Kiwi Lads, Stone Cold. No worries at all. Thank you all very much. And I will see you all for the next one.